If you're interested in the greatest father versus son fight, then you need to see this. Let's recap everything from Hanma Baki's Son of Ogre Season 2. The story continues after Baki returns to Japan. Captain Stridum visits and asks about the strongest animal ever. Baki names lions, tigers, bears, and finally the T-Rex. Stridum then shows news of a man said to surpass a T-Rex. The focus shifts to the workers who found a T-Rex and a primitive man trapped in a giant salt rock. Both were taken to a U.S. lab led by Nobel Prize winner Albert Payne. Alan, Albert's assistant, wonders if the man can be revived. Albert explains ancient seawater and salt can preserve life. Microorganisms from 250 million years ago were revived. They name the man Pickle. One day, Alan thinks the experiment failed until he notices T-Rex meat matches Pickle's stomach contents. Cooking it awakens Pickle. Confused, he follows the smell, eats the meat, and throws back Alan's bullets, injuring him. Alan locks himself in the T-Rex lab and calls police. Albert warns the authorities. They cannot stop Pickle. Ignoring him, police face his destruction as he smashes walls and vehicles. The army arrives with the MPBM battle machine. Pickle destroys it with his hands. Captain Stridum comes with tanks and helicopters, seeing Pickle differently. No fear, no hostility. He promises to take Pickle to Japan, where others like him exist. Pickle senses the meaning. Transported to Japan, Pickle's power is palpable. A reporter is attacked, guards fail, and Pickle finally sleeps. Albert explains on live TV that dinosaurs died from a meteor freezing Earth. The salt preserved the battle. Pickle survived, but human morals mean nothing to him. Protests rise at the base. Yujiro arrives, blocked by 3 guards who panic and start hitting each other. He stops them, saying they chose the only way to live, then rips the gate open with his bare hands and walks in. In Pickle's room, fighters gather, all eager to fight, but Pickle sleeps. Jack kicks a tree to wake him. Pickle pees outside. Yujiro approaches through bulletproof glass, declaring 8 fighters plus himself have come to challenge Pickle. They test strength with a handshake. Pickle, seeing Yujiro as a T-Rex, braces firmly. Modern humans have lost natural abilities, but Pickle's body still shows them. A loudspeaker orders a stop. Commander Henry arrives, explaining the U.S. Army cannot arrest Yujiro and respects him. He calls Pickle a living treasure and asks Yujiro to retreat. Yujiro agrees, if the other 8 fighters leave too. The night invasion ends. At a cafe, Rumina asks Baki if he can beat Pickle. Baki says no. Pickle is a cultural treasure. He only wants to defeat his father. Baki asks Retsu to teach him Kung Fu. Retsu refuses. He only wants to fight Pickle to test ancient power. Retsu offers himself as Pickle's food. In the arena, Pickle wakes and senses a worthy enemy. He punches Retsu into the wall. Retsu first tries targeting Pickle's weak points, making him cry, but it fails. He abandons strategy and fights with raw emotion, still struggling. Finding his spirit, Retsu returns to Kung Fu and fully trusts his skills, knocking Pickle down. Albert explains Pickle's body is beast-like, not human, and martial arts alone aren't enough. Pickle shifts into a beast stance and uses his full power, defeating Retsu's ultimate strike. Pickle cries. Tokugawa begs him not to eat Retsu, but Pickle knocks Tokugawa out. Albert injects Pickle with anesthesia. Retsu survives, losing a leg. Retsu feels shame for breaking his promise, but Baki comforts him, saying his pain comes from his heart, not the injury. Retsu thanks him. News spreads. Pickle escapes. A young fighter looks for a fight, but Pickle drags him into a dumpster and steals his clothes. At Shinshinkai Dojo, Katsumi rallies them to seek revenge for Retsu. Pickle is still loose, and the police search in vain. Pickle wanders into the red light district. A waiter offers a girl for money, but a Shinshinkai member intervenes, claiming to be Pickle's ally. The waiter refuses to believe him. Meanwhile, Katsumi confronts his father. Orochi insists Katsumi cannot defeat Pickle. Katsumi counters that disputes are settled with a fight. He defeats Orochi and apologizes for using his technique. On the street, a conflict erupts. Shinshinkai members threaten the waiter, but Hanayama arrives. Terada apologizes, explaining it's Katsumi's wish. During the scuffle, a knife flies toward Pickle. He reaches for it, but Hanayama stops him. Together, they snap it in half. Pickle punches Hanayama. Hanayama's junior rushes to attack him, but Pickle breaks his arm bone. Terada rushes in and is knocked out. Hanayama blocks Pickle again, preventing his escape. Pickle senses it. Hanayama's strength is not just size, but duty, kindness, and responsibility, unlike anything he has faced before. Baki arrives. Hanayama says Baki is late. He admires Pickle's fighting body as Shinshinkai members watch silently. Pickle raises his fist like Yujiro. Baki is thrown but senses Pickle's full mastery of Aikido. Hanma blood awakens and Baki attacks. Pickle doesn't fight back. He wants Baki to follow. Katsumi, having beaten his father, finds Pickle gone. He bows and asks everyone to help search. Pickle leads Baki to Tokugawa's arena. Baki asks why. Tokugawa says Pickle is challenging him. Hanayama warns Baki not to involve Tokugawa. Pickle suddenly kicks Baki out and raises his fist, celebrating. Meanwhile, Katsumi trains. Retsu visits, noting karate is young compared to kung fu. Katsumi admits revenge was an excuse. He fights the strong. Retsu offers guidance, merging styles for strength. At Shinshinkai Dojo, Retsu teaches Katsumi the mash punch. Katsumi must master speed, adding precision, weight, and imagination, shattering windows with his strikes. Tokugawa allows Katsumi to face Pickle at 6 a.m. in the baseball stadium. Katsumi warms up, greeted by his two mothers, embracing his unique family before the ultimate battle. Baki arrives after his mental training. Orochi also comes to support Katsumi. 55,000 Shinshinkai members gather at Tokyo Dome, shouting under Atsushi Suedo's guidance. Their leader has grown enough to meet expectations. Pickle charges at Katsumi, but 5 precise punches push him back. Katsumi blocks Pickle's kick while targeting the joints, striking with Mach speed like a T-Rex's tail. Pickle falls, feeling pain for the first time in 190 million years. Katsumi's attacks continue, generating shockwaves and showing mastery far beyond his age. Pickle pauses, snoring and crying, waiting for his opponent to exhaust himself. He recognizes Katsumi's courage and effort. Those who fight him are worthy. Finally, Pickle tears off Katsumi's arm. Katsumi accepts defeat, and Orochi halts the shooters, respecting their man-to-man agreement. The severed arm becomes a symbol of honor and friendship. Despite his savagery, Pickle shows humanity, forming a silent bond with Katsumi. For the first time, he withdraws satisfied, and 55,000 Shinshinkai members kneel before their leader. Baki felt jealous. Days later, Retsu brought tea to Katsumi. Though awkward after losing an arm, Katsumi said he had fought with all he had. This was a clash born from centuries of Japanese and Chinese martial arts. Baki brought flowers, saying Katsumi didn't lose. Katsumi agreed it was fair to say he gave everything. Baki promised to continue where Katsumi stopped. In the basement, Baki thought about Pickle. He could only picture his wild presence. No one knew Pickle's true limits. Excited, Baki prepared to face an unknowable enemy. Jack came to challenge Pickle, understood instantly by instinct. Baki called Tokugawa, requesting a fight tomorrow, but it was too late. Jack had already been bitten, yet smiled. His punch sent Pickle flying, but Albert warned it only awakened Pickle's true power. Baki and Retsu arrived to see Pickle thrown 20 meters, rising again. Jack hurled him back. Humanity's peak facing a Cretaceous fighter. Pickle mirrored Jack's movements, using walls like springs, claws, and reflexes, overwhelming him. Jack realized he could not win. Pickle cried for a worthy opponent but spared him. Remembering some enemies never truly die, Tokugawa nearly died trying to intervene. Jack returned, striking Pickle 5 times in the face with little effect. For the first time, Pickle's pride as an undefeated warrior was shaken. Jack pressed on, but Baki stopped him. Knowing Jack's career was over, Pickle gently carried Jack, not as an enemy, but as a future meal. Days later, Tokugawa informed Yujiro that Baki would wait for Pickle to fully recover. In the underground arena, Baki and Pickle finally faced each other alone. Tokugawa doubted Baki could win, but the Hanma blood flowed in him. Pickle ate T-Rex meat and invited Baki. Baki lightly touched his cheek, offending him. He apologized and rejected Pickle's pity. Pickle realized Baki was feigning weakness. Baki repeated the move that once hurt Pickle. His punches seemed to miss, yet Pickle suddenly fell. Retsu explained, Baki grazed the chin at extreme speed, rattling jaw and brain. A hit that looked like a miss. Pickle had never faced such an attack but did not flee. He realized this small man could control the ground beneath him. Injured, Baki used another strange technique, patting Pickle's shoulder. The shock hurt even Pickle's hardened body. Retsu explained, relaxed muscles act like a whip, striking the skin. Pickle had to defend. His pride hurt more than his body. Pickle countered with Kokuken, but Baki copied animal forms one by one, culminating in a Triceratops transformation, shocking Pickle. Though smaller, Baki carried crushing weight, monstrous power, and unbreakable will. T-Rex teeth and tail, Triceratops horns and legs, Pteranodon wings and claws, all struck at once. Pickle mistook the pain for a T-Rex bite. When Baki aimed for a direct hit, Pickle used the wall as a spring. Baki took the charge, sent Pickle flying, and marked his territory with urine, enraging him. Tricks were abandoned. They fought head-on, as humans. Following Yujiro's path, Baki predicted attacks, dodged at the last moment, and struck just enough to destabilize Pickle. Pickle sensed ghost-like speed, beings moving through him. Baki's left hand cut invisibly at his weak point. Pickle recalled old battles, rearranged joints, and awakened primeval instincts. Hardened parts grew tougher, powerful parts fiercer. Baki thanked Pickle for this rebirth, accepting it as friendship. Pickle's blows no longer moved him. Baki countered faster and sharper, breaking teeth and twisting claws. Pickle cried. Baki let his body flow with the fight. Cornered, Baki chased Pickle with lightning speed. Victory neared, but he chose stamina over skill. Pickle tried one last move, then collapsed. Unable to move, he was left as Baki slipped away before the doctors arrived. Pickle went to his favorite lookout. The world voted whether to seal him in rock salt or let him live in the present. By a narrow margin, rock salt won. Albert called humanity foolish. Pickle escaped and vanished into Tokyo. After the fight, Baki's checkup seemed fine, but Kureha later with Mogi was shocked by Baki's brain folds and said, "The owner of this brain was like a demon." Days later, two thugs threatened Baki with a knife, but his killing intent terrified them. Mr. Kuriyagawa warned them to leave, and they fled. Over coffee, Kuriyagawa said the greatest fight was coming, father versus son. Baki recalled being crushed by Yujiro and questioned his hatred. He remembered Emi, who loved violence, raised him to please Yujiro, and protected him when Yujiro nearly killed him. Now Baki fights not for revenge, but to repay his mother's love. In America, Yujiro defeated Oliva with one punch and won their height above sea level contest. At Tokugawa's home, officials debated making the fight public, fearing harm to children and rising violence. They revealed Yujiro once attacked a prime minister, and that the US has a non-aggression pact with him. At Stridom's base, soldiers were taught there is no dirty fighting in war. Stridom tried yearly to kill Yujiro with explosives, but Yujiro destroyed them with one kick, and Stridom gave up again. Baki tried to imagine Yujiro, but reality was far worse. Yujiro told Tokugawa to get checked. Soon Tokugawa vomited blood. Yujiro ordered a doctor. He sees weakness and disease in bodies and has never lost to any weapon. Tokugawa woke in the hospital. Kureha told him to rest. Retsu joined a boxing gym. When the coach mocked his missing leg, he tore a punching bag apart. Manny asked to spar, but Retsu defeated him easily. Determined to learn real boxing, Retsu challenged any boxer. If they could knock him down, he'd follow all training. Manny agreed, making every boxer his opponent. At Shinshinkai HQ, Katsumi shows his new one-armed style. Baki, impressed, discusses the upcoming father-son fight and learns Retsu now trains in boxing but will fight with kung fu. At a restaurant, the captain tells Yujiro that Baki wants a family meal. Enraged by the idea, Yujiro storms off, rejecting the thought entirely. At the gym, Retsu trains kung fu while others box. The coach brings in a huge ex-soldier who rushes him and sends him flying. Retsu senses his power but spots weak grips. Fists break easier than skulls. He strikes the man's blocking arm, shattering the humerus. Sea King Retsu is born. Promoter Kaiser arrives, stunned by Retsu's stance and muscles. Retsu crushes a leather glove, shocking Kaiser and defying boxing itself. Impressed, Kaiser invites him to the US as a kung fu warrior. The coach is baffled why Retsu agrees. Baki trains by studying a cockroach, calling it his master. He learns how it moves from 0 to full speed instantly using fluid pressure, not muscles, and begins to grasp the secret. In Las Vegas, Retsu enters a city of luxury. In a huge arena, Kaiser announces Sea King Retsu versus former champion Andre. Andre mocks him and breaks concrete. Retsu crushes 2 blocks, stunning the crowd. Reporters learn he lost a leg fighting a friend. Kaiser declares, no special rules, only fists. At the hotel, the coach warns Retsu he's insulting boxing. Retsu lets a jab hit, accepting it as respect for his martial arts. The fight begins. Retsu, China's champion, fights reluctantly for show. Andre charges, but Retsu's low stance and kung fu defeat him instantly. Afterwards, Kaiser pays Retsu, who notices dirty boots and threatens him. At Baki's house, he senses Yujiro coming. Yujiro drinks Baki's coffee, insults it, and mocks the idea of family. Baki asks him to make coffee. Yujiro says Baki must first force him to submit. The table is smashed. The next morning, Shiba attacks Baki on Hanayama's orders. Baki knocks him out and leaves. At the arena, Kaiser introduces Retsu's next opponent, Smoking Joe Cruiser, a relentless heavyweight. Smaller but fierce, Joe attacks non-stop. Retsu blocks, sensing severe internal damage. Boxing gloves are deadly weapons. Meanwhile, Shiba attacks Baki at his door. Baki knocks him down, but Shiba keeps coming. Feeling Shiba's unyielding spirit, Baki lets him exhaust himself. In the ring, Retsu recalls his master's lesson. The brain is like tofu, shake to regain focus. Adapting mid-fight, he knocks Joe down and strikes his eyes, but Joe keeps rising. Finally, Retsu lands a philtrum strike, paralyzing him. Joe wakes, thanks him, and leaves. The world champion declares Retsu the winner. That night, Baki prepares dinner for Yujiro. Yujiro bows, teaching him respect for food and life. They talk about manners and nutrition, and Yujiro invites him to dinner the next day. At a luxury restaurant, Baki feels underdressed. Yujiro scolds him. Baki explains he was only trained to be strong. They sit and Yujiro shows him how to use utensils. When Baki asks why he killed his mother, Yujiro grows furious. They clash violently, shaking the building. Yujiro throws Baki outside. He survives on a car. Yujiro mocks his lack of killing intent, saying this is a father-son fight, not a real battle. The Prime Minister deploys forces. Yujiro's whip strike overwhelms Baki, who strikes back. Yujiro barely reacts. Taking a real stance, Yujiro lets Baki fight freely. Baki relaxes completely, turning from solid to liquid to vapor. He dashes with cockroach-like speed. Yujiro, stunned, wonders who trained him. News spreads. A massive crowd gathers. Baki strikes first with ultra-fast invisible blows to vital points. Yujiro blocks and counters like a pitcher. Baki bleeds, realizing this is a true battle. Orochi watches proudly, Pickle observes. Baki projects a Triceratops with Form Fist, attacking with crushing force, flipping a van and tearing the street. Yujiro demonstrates the strongest Form Fist. Baki reads his intent and knocks him down, shocking the crowd. Overwhelmed, Baki cries at his father's rare praise. Yujiro hugs him, teaching that strength is the freedom to act, kill, or love, then throws and kicks him as education. As Baki struggles, Pickle interferes. Baki strikes him and tells him to stay out of their fight. Scolded for breaking the rules of nature, Pickle backs off. Yujiro smiles, glad the fight isn't over. They read each other like swordsmen. Yujiro counts down. Baki moves first, trapping him with Tiger King. Orochi notes Baki's strength comes from Yujiro's blood. Yujiro smashes the street with his arm, inhumanly strong. Baki admits using tricks but vows to win. Yujiro praises him, forcing his hidden power awake. The crowd panics. Baki faces unstoppable violence, numb and exhausted. Yujiro Hanma appears, shocking Yujiro. Tokugawa recalls Yujiro defeating America in World War II with dress. Yujiro spins Baki like a nunchuck, leaving him bleeding and terrifying the crowd. Baki endures collecting car pieces mid-attack to make a doll, proving his consciousness. His Hanma blood awakens fully. He thanks Yujiro. Yujiro admits life has been unbearably boring. Reflecting on loss and having reached the top of strength, Yujiro tells Baki that being father and son is special. Baki promises to take care of him. Yujiro praises Baki's punch, revealing his greatest toy has always been his son. Suddenly, Kozue urges them to stop or fight properly. Baki says their dialogue is part of the father-son fight only family can play. The police and crowd witness ultimate strength. Baki thanks Kozue, telling her to leave. Baki asks her to find safety, but she refuses. Baki touches Yujiro's head, feeling all he's learned. They strike with full power, no defenses. Punches crash repeatedly, bones break, faces shatter. Orochi and the crowd recognize the fight's significance. Cameras broadcast nationwide. Afterward, Baki lands one last kick, but refuses to give up. The season ends with Yujiro declares it enough, cooks miso soup with tofu, and they eat together at midnight. Baki notes it's too salty. Yujiro refuses to taste it. Baki flips the table to save him. Yujiro admits the soup is salty, acknowledging Baki as the strongest. If you want more recaps like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what anime you want to see next.